This episode of Dispatches from Planet Albany is brought to you with support by New York State United Teachers, which represents more than 600,000 educators and school-related professionals in New York. Dispatches is also supported by the public affairs firm O'Donnell & Associates. For more information, check out o'donnellsolutions.com.
And all of a sudden, cared about, redistricting, and it had to be fair and just and whatever. When for years, Republicans were gerrymandering the shit out of these lines and doing whatever they wanted. If you saw some of these districts upstate, they didn't even make sense for years. Anyways.
I've also declared war on potholes, so here's the first shot across the bow.
Well, as you know, with Planet Albany, there's always something that makes the planet turn.
And it's this amazing view of D.C., and Eddie Vedder comes out. And he goes, "You have a cigarette?" And I've never smoked in my life, but if I had, I wish that was the moment.
And this strategy takes us from potholes to knotholes.
I would like to say it was a pleasure, Mr. Kim. But I'm on the road.
I'm David Lombardo, and this is Dispatches from Planet Albany, a WCNY podcast about power and politics in New York. And on this episode, we're going to start the year, because the legislative session is upon us, by making some predictions for what will happen in Albany from now through June 4th-ish. And my guest for this long-range forecasting is Shontell Plummer, a partner with Tusk Strategies. Shontell, how are you doing at the start of 2026?
I got the Monday scaries, It's been a nice, relaxing 2-week vacation. And I'm back doing the people's work, I went from homemaking Shanti to now legislative session Shanti.
And is there anything that you do to get ready for the session?
Oh, the night before I cried. No, stop. No, really, no, I don't. I mean, I do a vision board on New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my goals for my vision board intersect with the legislative session. But this year, I'm just living life.
I'm going to try to learn more members' names.
Oh, you don't know their names?
Well, there's new people every single year, and they don't really matter in the context.
Oh my God, new people.
Yeah.
Everybody is in the legislature. Every single member of the legislature possibly can help you achieve your goal in some way.
I mean, I can't name all the Republicans on Long Island anymore, and I don't want to put you on the spot.
I can't either, but I know they're if I saw their face, I'd be like, "Oh, I know this guy. Okay, I need to
Sure." But I'd like to get a better handle for all that.
That's your goal?
Mm-hmm. And to be, as we were talking about offline, more conscientious about the food I eat, not in a dieting sense, but in the sense of, that was a good sandwich I had, and not that was a McChicken from McDonald's.
I think then what you mean to say is you want to be more mindful in the places that you go to pursue dining.
Sure.
Because it's not the meal. It's the meal is going to be bad if the place is bad. So it's not the food, it's the places that you are eating. So instead of acting like a college student, you want to eat like a more refined older gentleman that's married.
The food snob that I strive to be.
Well, I did a little perusing on Instagram. Seems like the wife is quite a cook. She posted something. Okay, well, I don't want to get in your business, but she posted something the other day. I think it was just praising her partner, but she was just now you get to go along in this crazy ride with me and my complex.
Oh, yeah. She calls it jazz because she kind of just freestyles, which means we're going to eat late that night is my interpretation of that.
But isn't it great when you're married and your partner can cook?
It is good, but I also like to cook, so it also is a challenge for me to release some of the control that I am used to exerting over the kitchen.
Let me tell you, I don't cook. So before I met my husband, I was eating a lot of air fried salmon and Trader Joe cauliflower rice. Now my husband cooks, and it's baby, you want jerk chicken? You want curry chicken? It's just great. It's I wake up, it's breakfast? Thank you. I don't want to say I'm a kept woman, but it's been great.
Okay, well, why don't we pivot to the reason we're here today, which is to make some predictions for the session
Wait,
ahead.
weren't we supposed to talk about our holiday?
Well, I thought that kind of was part of that, but what do you want
That's
to share?
not talking about our holiday. That's like talking about like your day. I want to know, how did you spend your holiday? My goal is to ask more questions of you so the viewers can get a sense of who you are.
Well, can I talk about one of the things I did over the holiday that involved you?
Sure. Let the people know.
So I went to your Christmas party, which I was a little nervous about on two counts. One, I didn't have any holiday garb, which I solved by connecting with my best friend who loaned me a sweater, and I felt very comfortable. So that was checked off. And then two, it was this high-powered list of invitees who I'm not going to name, but it was a who's who for this off-the-record gathering, and a who's who of Plummer and Shontell relatives as well. So I got to meet a lot of your family. But the big takeaway was when I was getting ready to leave, and I was telling you how much I enjoyed the food, and I mentioned one of the things that I liked.
Catered food.
Yes.
The catered food.
Yes.
I just want to let people know, like, you went to like a proper holiday party.
There was a photo booth, a DJ,
Other people.
catered food. There was a cake. There were other desserts.
Bartender.
Yep, a bartender.
And it was catered. It was, you know how the Kardashians have their annual holiday party? I am trying to make this holiday party like the who's who holiday party. And it's just like a fun time with friends. And this is fun. It was fun. It was really, really, really fun. But I want to be clear. It wasn't like a stuffy party.
Oh, no, not at all. But a lot of
Was this
people knew each other and had relationships with each other outside of work. And so I didn't want to be the guy coming up to everyone being like, well, what's going to happen this session? What's going to, oh, hello, sir. And
nobody was talking about work. People were partying.
Although there were some people talking to me about some of their work things that they wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I saw you trapped someone. Anyways.
Trapped.
I got a lot of like, oh, David's here. At first people were like they were afraid to loosen up. But then I think once the drinks started kicking and the DJ was playing, everyone just started to relax, and it was just so much fun. Was that your first like black house party?
Black being reference to the people?
Well, I'm the host, and last time I checked.
Yes. Except from high school and college when we go to my friend Dwayne's house. Actually, those were Christmas parties, and I used to drink back then too.
But like, did they have DJs? Like, people were dancing at them.
No.
Were you there when people were dancing?
That was kind of our cue to leave. There was one lobbyist who had begun dancing, and we were ready to leave at that point.
You were just like, this is just uncomfortable. And you probably...
My edible was kicking in then too.
I just want to say, OCM had a stellar year, and I'm sure I contributed to that.
Well, I just also want to point out that for the people who didn't already know me through my work, they knew me as the guy from Shontell's videos. So that was what I really appreciated.
Oh, so it's not like, but it was nice, right?
It was.
You enjoyed it?
Yes.
I gave, for people that don't know, I ordered 2 trays of something. And because, I had white people, I had black, I had everybody. It was like United Nations at my party. And the one thing was not really a hit with the people of color, but it was a hit with David Lombardo.
Yep.
And I was definitely not going to eat that because that wasn't from me or like anything I would eat. So when he was leaving, I said, "Oh, you take that with you," and you enjoyed it.
Yep.
And you sent me a text a week later. Took you all.
Oh, days, just a few days, and it was gone. And I had to get clearance though because before we were getting ready to leave, I was like, I'd love to get some leftovers. And my wife goes, "No, you cannot ask for leftovers." And then you offer me leftovers, and I was like, "You're going to have to explain the situation to her before we leave. Otherwise, I can't leave with this tray."
You know what's interesting? After you guys left, I brought out the to-go containers. But there were to-go containers because we had so much food for people to take. But he got to see the McMansion. He got to meet my wonderful husband.
Yep.
And it was such a good night. And then, I just want to tell you what I did. After that, I went to Mexico for a week. And I would suggest staffers in the legislature, if you can, that time between Christmas and New Year, really go somewhere just to take care of your mental health. Because what people don't know is the transition from like summer and fall into back into session for the staff is awful. It's like, you know how they talk about the Sunday scaries? It's like the session scaries. Like it's usually like tonight or last night. Last night or like, because then like this week is like, session starts. But then Monday, session really starts. It's awful for them. So you should go someplace and take care of your mental health.
We appreciate that PSA. Think you know Planet Albany? Then prove your stuff by joining our Fantasy Lawmaker League for 2026. You'll pick 6 state lawmakers and get points for movement on their legislation. But choose wisely, because inaction and vetoes will cost you points. So join the fun for free by January 16th and follow along all year long to see how you stack up against your fellow political nerds, with a chance to win bragging rights and an undisclosed prize. The link to join is in the podcast episode description and on our homepage at capitalpressroom.org. Some challenges need someone who simply won't quit. Modern advocacy brings tenacity, strategy, and unwavering follow-through to every client it serves. Learn more at modernadvocacyllc.com. Support for dispatches from Planet Albany provided by National Fuel. Natural gas delivers affordable, reliable energy to millions of New Yorkers every day. Trusted utilities are committed to keeping homes warm, businesses running, and communities thriving. Natural gas is a critical part of an all-of-the-above energy strategy, one that prioritizes sustainability for the Empire State's future. Learn more at betterplannobans.com. So let's talk session, and I want to begin with kind of a most likely predictions to more of our long shots. And I think the one I want to start with and get your sense of, which I think is a guaranteed lock at this point, the budget is going to be late, and that 2-week vacation they've got carved out in the legislative session in April will not happen.
Agreed. But I don't think it's going to be like May late. I actually think it's going to be like only a month late. Because remember, like the governor has 2 haters. She has a hater to the right and a hater to the left. So like, to the left, she's going to have, her lieutenant governor in that little Freedom Plaza outside the Capitol yelling every day the budget's late, talking about all the shit she's not doing or the shit she should be doing. And then to the right, she's got that hater in Long Island who likes to talk about how Albany is so corrupt with the 3 Democrats in the room, blah, 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 blah. So she wants to get out. Like, once the governor's done with budget, she can do what she really needs to do. You have to forget, everyone has a primary in June.
Right.
So, like, she's not going to be playing around talking about alienation and like wetlands and stupid shit like that in the budget that usually bogs the budget down. She's going to try to get whatever 4 or 5 wins she needs to get and do it.
Moving down one level, so to speak, I think there will be some sort of investment in childcare above and beyond what they've...
Come on. Like, hello. Like, okay, is today Monday?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying these are not long shots. These are safe bets. Okay. I think it won't be what anybody is looking for in the child care space, but I would be shocked if they don't spend hundreds of millions more this year on child care as they claim they're making their way towards universal child care.
I think they are trying to make, like, I want to say, I think everybody realizes how crazy expensive childcare is. It's just like it's not even a real thing. Like childcare and housing are just like disgusting in New York right now. And I think she's going to try to make strides. I think no matter what, she could have been the most progressive governor. It's never going to make anyone happy. No one's going to be 100% happy, but I think it will be a good start, and I think it will be a good investment. I do think that. So
we're both on board. Then moving down the notch in terms of predictability, I think there will be some sort of, in addition to an extension of the corporate tax rates, some sort of increase in the corporate tax rates for those companies making, I don't know what the threshold's going to be, but probably in excess of $5 million annually. What do you think of that?
Okay, so we're just on the same page. I do think there's going to be an increase in the corporate tax, but I feel there's going to be like a 0.1, like there's going to be like nothing crazy, but like the slightest of the increase in the PIT. Because I just don't believe you can have people screaming, talking about tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich, and you don't do anything. It makes people sad, but I do think she will be increasing. I think there'll be an increase in taxes for millionaires. Not like they aren't already, from what I hear, they are taxed pretty heavy, but I think there'll be an increase.
This hasn't impacted you yet, or has impacted you?
Next question.
Well, she's been much more resolute, though, on the personal income taxes side of things.
Yeah, but like, it's hard because everyone's looking out for themselves. This is an election year. If it was a normal year, fine, but it's an election year. Like, we all got to die together. And I know people think that the corporate tax will be enough. It's not going to be we could have a great year. Maybe we have a great year in tax receipts. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I just don't think it's going to be enough. And I think, excuse me. Can you hear him?
Not really.
Oh, okay. I just think, even though she's been resolute, I just think it's going to be like a slight increase. Even if it's like 1%, I do think it's going to be an increase. Like, how can you justify not increasing? Like, these are millionaires.
Why
How can you
would the argument be different now than it was the first 4 years when she held the line on it?
She's up for re-election.
That was the case in 2022 as well.
Yeah, and Eric Adams was like with her. He didn't want to increase the millionaires tax. I think Mayor Money.
Share.
I think our mayor
Bay.
of New York City. I think I didn't watch it at first, but then I did catch a replay of it, of the mayor's inaugural speech. He doubled down. He's talking about abundance. He's like, look, y'all think I'm going to come in and come to the middle. And he's like, like,
No.
Abundance.
It was a celebration, yeah.
Yeah, so I do think he's going to publicly still hold firm to what he wants. And I just think it's hard when when people's healthcare premiums are increasing and all this stuff, to be like, no, please, please don't increase the tax for the millionaires.
So then
People will be sad, but I think one of my predictions, I think that's going to be what was it? It was like things we know for sure, and then things that are like, maybe. I think there's a chance PIT gets impacted besides the extension.
Well, how about in terms of the process for either of these, if the governor is going to do them, does she put them in her initial executive budget, or do they get added?
Oh, please. No. No. No.
Don't negotiate against yourself.
No, it ain't happening. She's not putting in her thing. What's going to happen? She's going to be like, I'm not doing this. And then we're going to get to April 15th, April 17th, whatever. Antonio Delgado and Bruce Blakeman going to be beating the crap out of her. The speaker's going to be like, I ain't got the votes. The leader's going to be like, I don't have the votes. And then they're going to have to figure something out. This is just my prediction. On an election year, when people are afraid of primaries, you remember DSA right now was like, who won it? Do you want it? Like, they're out there. Like, I think the election for some, the progressive left, I think has made people feel that they have the momentum and they should seize on this moment. So they're doing races and they're primarying people and they don't care. And I think people are going to be a little anxious about that. And their votes are going to matter in an election year. I've seen people lose their mind during budget because they are afraid of the impact or the implications of their vote.
And you're saying lawmakers lose their minds because they're worried.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Yeah. You don't understand what's happening in my district.
Yeah, I got this. I got that. This person's after me. Unions get crazy. They need people like if you're someone that depends on DSA to go out there and like, the DSA folks, they ain't voting for nothing that doesn't basically emulate the mayor's agenda. And then you're going to have like these New York City progressives that may not be DSA, but are DSA adjacent
Yeah.
that are primarying people and trying to get votes. So it'll just be interesting.
So some predictions I have for outside of the budget include that they will revisit redistricting in 2026. They will do some sort of update to the Constitution.
But what can you do?
They can get the ball rolling to have new lines for 2028.
If I were them, what I've learned from this Trump era, if I were them, I would do a constitutional amendment to get rid of that nonpartisan
Yes.
bullshit.
I think it's clear.
I would absolutely, yeah. Like
Carl
I would
Hastie
be
hates
like,
it.
I think it's stupid. The Senate Democrats weren't in power during that time when the constitutional amendment passed. However, I think it's just something that it's just unnecessary because at the end of the day, we're living in a world post-Trump where like societal norms and diplomacy, like people just they're not adhering to it.
Yeah.
So it's way more political. It's way more gamesmanship.
And there's no political repercussions for Democrats who then do something that's seen as not good government. They're not going to suffer any consequences for doing this.
I think what was it? Was it like 2012 and like 14 when the constitutional amendment? Because he had that guy walking around talking about no bad apples bullshit.
Ed Koch. This was his big thing.
Koch,
Former mayor.
whatever. It needs to go. Needs to go. And I just believe we are in a place in politics where societal norms just don't even apply anymore because Trump just got homeboy out of Venezuela and is like basically doing a trial. And I just think this is insane. And there are some people acting like this is normal and it is not.
What do you mean? We do this all the time. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, we go to a different nation and pluck them and make up some fake charges of corruption.
Didn't you see Air Force One?
Yeah, okay. And then Mark Rubio's like, yeah, I had nothing to do with that, but I just got the call. Like, it's insane. Like, what
All right. Turning back to Albany, I got another long shot prediction. And I think this one is a real long shot. That there will be comprehensive, and I think they do this because they see the chance for more revenue, a comprehensive overhaul of alcohol laws that includes putting wine in grocery stores.
Okay, James Skoufis. The alcohol lobby is intense. The alcohol lobby is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The alcohol lobby has a stronghold in Albany. Now, there's a group of lobbyists or like lobbying that like for some reason you can't break. There's like, this is the wall, you can't break it. Any changes to the ABC law, and I'm talking like we have like some crazy laws governing alcohol. And the lobby is so crazy, like people get scared. There are certain lobbies that are just like so crazy and intense. I think that's a long shot. I don't think that happens, but let's see. Because I know you love to run the tape later.
So this is my very, very, very long shot, and it's something I wasn't even thinking about until somebody brought it up to me, and I actually don't think it'll happen. But if the governor does feel any sort of pressure from her right, or really from centrists who are concerned about the handling of New York City and its finances, maybe she decides to revisit.
No.
What do you think I'm going to say?
The legislation, wasn't there legislation to like kind of govern like how finances are spent in New York City?
So basically giving more teeth to the Financial Control Board, essentially giving the state more.
Absolutely not.
No, they don't say, I'm the adult in charge, don't worry.
No, because
there's a parent here.
It's the Financial Control Board and what was the other one? The Public
Authorities Control Board?
Those two things, when I tell you, when you talk about amending them, it is like people lose their mind because it's just basically saying that like the systems that we have in place aren't good. You're trying to basically so they always do this like double analogy. So, okay. So you're telling me if there's a Republican governor, you'd want a Republican governor overseeing New York City finances. And then everyone would say no, and then they'd be like, "We're not doing that." Like, no, we're not doing that. So I don't see it happening. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I
I
think it's a
don't.
long shot.
It's a crazy long shot.
Yeah, I think if we keep proceeding the way things are, I don't think the governor wants to alienate the left in any way, shape, or form. But if for some reason things begin to happen in a way that New York City becomes more of a vulnerability for her, where
No way.
she becomes more concerned about what's happening on Long Island, in Westchester, then I could see there being this case to be made where she says, okay, don't worry.
And then New York City members that are
You'd have to put some
make
sort
a-
of big ugly together to get them on board. But the outer borough members who don't like Zoran to begin with would probably be on board with something like that.
Yeah, guess what? The outer borough members don't like Mayor Mamdani, Mr. Zoran. Don't call him Zoran. He's the mayor. We have to start calling him
Sure.
Mayor Mamdani. Stop it. The outer borough electeds that don't like the mayor will learn to like the mayor because they're going to need shit done in their district. So everyone's not going to want to piss him off because say what you want, all politics is local. And when you have things going on in your district, they're going to need the mayor at some point. So they'll get over it.
Well,
I want to do a long shot thing. I think something on immigration, even though a lot of immigration law is controlled by federal, and I think people feel like with ICE's presence, whatever things that they can do to maybe control or limit or look at, I do think the legislature will do. I don't think the governor will sign, but I do think they might pass something.
well, that's probably an important distinction there because what I actually had written down as something that wouldn't happen was that in the context of the budget, there wouldn't be some sort of significant help for non-citizens in New York. But I think what you're saying probably makes a lot more sense. And then the governor just sits on the bill until after Election Day. Because she's not going to be leading the charge. Unless Brad Lander gets in trouble again.
I don't say she's not gonna lead the charge. Look, I think she's been very clear. I think it's like when ICE snatches up kids or like innocent people, she does do a hard statement.
Yeah, if like 90% of the population's on board, she's okay with it.
Does what she needs to do. Well, I'm just saying, a lot. Immigration's. I remember my last year, we tried to do some sort of like paying for healthcare. It's hard. It's complicated. It's a lot of money. And it has people feelings in their feelings. So it's like immigration's one of those things where it's like you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. So on election year, I see her being like, "Oh, that's interesting. Thank you." No, thank you. But I think the legislature will be like, "Vive the revolution. We need to pass this."
Oh.
You like my Les Mis Revolution?
That's not Spanish?
They didn't speak French in Les Mis. Well, in the play. Not in the play, in the movie. They spoke English. So it was like, okay, Hamilton, Lafayette. Like, he has a little, like, Lafayette,
Okay. That sounded French to me.
See where I'm coming? Okay, all right.
So, my last thing is not necessarily a prediction for the session, but something I'm rooting for in 2026.
I've thought about this.
Well, I'll let you go first then.
This is the most important question. Bring dogs back to the Capitol with parameters.
For not just the speaker?
Okay. Don't talk about that man's dog. Okay?
No, good God, no. You do not want to do that.
Like, she's very, yes.
My
like,
office will be moved to
Exactly,
Siberia,
like,
live from Watertown.
exactly. When I was able to bring my dog when I was chief of staff, I think the dogs really impacted people's mental health for the better. Members would come in my office to play with the dogs. Staff, it was a good de-stressor. Now, I do think that people have become irresponsible. Like, if you have a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull, like, no, you shouldn't be bringing your dog to the Capitol. However, if you have a respectable sized dog within the limits of, like, what is respectable, I don't know. But let's say, like, 20, 30. If you got something that's quiet and it's not going to disrupt the day-to-day operations of the legislature or the Capitol building, I think you should bring it in, especially during budgets, especially in the world that we're living with everything being so unpredictable and people's mental health being so shaky. I say let the dogs come in. Now, if you're a member and you have a dog, clean your dog's shit. Don't make staff do it. Like one thing about Bitey, if Bitey peed or pooed or whatever, it was clean. Like ask people. There have been days where Bitey would poop in the office and I'm in like a dress and pumps on the ground picking up. He had a pee pee pad, obviously, and he pooped at pee pee in the pee pee pad. But like,
Obviously.
let the dogs come in and help people because it's gloomy and people get crazy on election year. Let's bring a little peace in. I was very offended when that notice came out saying people couldn't bring dogs because it's also not applied fairly. Like, throw a bone. I thought very hard about this. Sorry. I feel so passionate about it because my dog literally changed my life.
It's on
Not my
brand.
husband, anything. My dog. What's for you?
I was just going to say that I hope that the LCA show this year is meaner in 2026 than it has been in the past.
You guys really need to lean in. Like, it's, we'll talk about it off camera. Like, get more punchy, man. Get punchy.
Yeah.
If you want to like test ride some of these jokes with me, like, let me know. I'm here for y'all. Because I'm pretty funny.
If you do say so.
I don't say so. The people say so.
Well, we've been speaking with the voice of the people, Shontell Plummer. She is a partner with Tusk Strategies. Shontell, thank you so much for making the time. Happy New Year, and look forward to doing this many more times in 2026.
Oh, thank you. Wait, how many times did I do it last year?
I believe the number was 17.
Let's go for 18. Let's go for 21. You know why? Because I'm born on the 21st. Let's go for 21 this year.
That's the goal.
Did you heat them up?
No. Nope.
You ate them cold?
Yep.